7 years of putting up videos, and we finally hit 1 million subscribers. I'm Graham from Loudwire, and I want to say thank you so much, and I'm going to go through the history of this channel and some of my favorite interviews of all time, and by the end, I will reveal a music industry secret you won't want to miss. Let's go all the way back to 2012. Now this video shows just how far we've come. Back when Loudwire started putting up videos on YouTube, we had no cameraman, no audio engineers, no video editors, and barely even a usable camera. Remember those old flip video cameras? We used one of those, and I edited the footage myself on iMovie. Ugh. This interview with Garza Odorous looks like garbage and sounds like straight ass. But at least you can watch a fresh-faced, 24-year-old Graham, I know I look 12, interview a grotesque space monster in 144p.
Maybe Whitney Houston shouldn't have 50 different prescriptions for Oxycontin.
I think this next one was the first big news story that we were able to break on video. In early 2013, in our crappy old office space, Brian Headwelch from Korn essentially announced his plans to rejoin the band after 8 years away.
But, you know, hearts change, and reconciliation is now, and it feels good.
Not long after Head proclaimed reconciliation is now, Korn dropped a reunion documentary entitled Reconciliation. Having been a Korn fan since I was 11 years old, this day was absolutely mind-blowing. If my gravestone is fitted with a computer screen after I die, the Phil Anselmo episode of Wikipedia Fact or Fiction will be played on an infinite loop, I'm sure of it. It's the interview I get asked about more than anything. It's peak Graham awkwardness, with Anselmo cracking my knuckles and threatening to fight me.
Huh?
I believe
you want to fight me? He's trying to fight me.
Telling some of the best stories in Wikipedia history. Once the cameras turned off though, Phil couldn't have been nicer, for real, giving me a giant hug in celebration that we got those Wikipedia assholes. Of course, that's nothing compared to how part 2 ended.
Now see, what are they gonna say now?
When you're doing this job and going from event to event, sometimes you just find yourself in the right place at the right time. At Black Sabbath's 13 album release party, I somehow found myself in a press line with people from ABC, NBC, all of the major news channels with their crazy video gear. All we had was a cheap audio recorder and a cell phone just in case we got to talk to somebody. But once we were led into the venue's basement, there he was, the Prince of fucking Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. All the news crews immediately surrounded Ozzy, leaving Geezer Butler standing completely alone, like 3 feet away. He slipped out the door immediately, knowing the press was only interested in Ozzy. Ozzy only had 5 minutes to talk to everybody, and with just 1 minute left, I finally mustered up the courage to jump in and ask a question.
Excuse me, Ozzy. I'm really loving the song God is Dead.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was strictly about Nietzsche, or if that's something that you personally ponder every day.
Sure. I was in a doctor's waiting room, and I saw a magazine which said God is dead, and I thought, oh yeah, they flew planes into the World Trade Center, and they're always blowing themselves up in marketplace and killing innocent people.
Fun fact, I almost canceled this interview with Corey Taylor to rush myself to the hospital. No, it's not because I was sick, it's because I thought my lung had collapsed. I've actually had 3 collapsed lungs in my life, so when I started having brutal chest pains at the office, I naturally thought my 4th surgery would be happening that day. Ultimately, I said, f it, if I end up in surgery, I'll be showing them my photo with CMFT as they put me under. We did the interview, and after Corey left, I limped my dumb ass into a cab and into the ER. Lucky for me, despite some irregularities in my lungs, I didn't have a collapse, and the YouTube clips from that one sit-down with Corey Taylor have since racked up over 6 million views. Check out Corey's Wikipedia episode sometime and see if you can tell how much pain I'm in. Now, my favorite Wikipedia moment of all time comes courtesy of David Draiman.
Down with the sickness, the wah-ah-ah noise was inspired by a visit to the Chicago Zoo.
No.
There's like these pictures of like monkeys making crazy noises or whatever.
Who the f comes up with this shit? I swear to God.
Okay, so was it?
Disproving Wikipedia bullshit just doesn't get better than that. P.S. My all-time favorite episode for years was Ice-T, but it's just been overrun by the almighty Alice Cooper. Now this is one that really could have broken me. After so many years, I'm pretty much unfazed by a musician being unfriendly, but if Bruce Dickinson had been a dick to me, I don't know if I would have recovered. Thankfully, Bruce could not have been cooler both times that we sat down. In 2015 for the Book of Souls, and in 2017 for his official memoir, What Does This Button Do? This one is a true sleeper, and to this day the entire Loudwire staff is shocked that this video only has 30,000 views. Breaking the news to Ace Frehley that he did not win a Grammy for the song Beth. Just watch, because it gets ever better when Ace's girlfriend reveals his pet name on camera.
Hi.
Pooh Bear?
What'd you call me?
Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear. You're live on the air, Poodle.
Oh, I am? But I always call you Pooh Bear.
On to another KISS member. This is easily the most contentious interview of my career. Yep, even more than Sebastian Bach. In 2017, Gene was hawking his $2,000 Vault box set, actually bringing it into our studio. Gene dialed up his egomaniac persona to a 10, setting the stage for a little verbal sparring between myself and him.
And it's also Not Heavy, It's My Brother. He's not heavy, he's my brother. Name the band. You know Behemoth, but you don't know that classic song.
I listen to the good stuff.
No, millions of people determine what good stuff is, not 3,000. Good stuff is defined by the masses.
Bieber, One Direction.
Well, their fans think it's good.
To Gene's credit, he was the exact same guy off camera as he was on camera, trying to convince me the Ramones never made it since they weren't super rich. However, Joe was the day's biggest winner, taking the greatest Gene photo in the history of forever. Alright, it's time for that super duper music industry secret I promised you at the beginning of this video, and it is the legend of the Rob Halford hug. Let's go all the way back to 2011. My first ever in-person interview for Loudwire was with Judas Priest. Unbelievable, right? So I'm going to their hotel and I'm standing in their hotel lobby. Standing next to me in that hallway was Jose Mangan from SiriusXM, but suddenly Rob Halford emerges from one of the hotel rooms and gives Jose one of the biggest, warmest, most incredible hugs I've ever seen in my life, and I was infuriated with jealousy. I promised myself at that moment that someday I would receive the Halford hug that I had just witnessed. Fast forward 6 years later at the 2017 Loudwire Music Awards, I'm doing a Wikipedia Fact or Fiction live with Sammy Hagar and Rob Halford. Now I'm waiting for them in the green room, and there comes Rob Halford coming through the door. He takes a look at me and he says, "Oh, the Inquisitor," and he comes toward me and he gives me the hug that I saw so many years ago. It felt like being knighted by the metal god, adorned by his wings of destiny. I could have cried, but instead my eyes gazed up towards the heavens as the clouds parted and shined down a single beam of light, illuminating the greatest moment of my career and, dare I say, my life. The warmth of the Halford hug perforated my very essence, and today my soul still radiates with that warmth, my friends. So you see, my 10th moment in this list is not one caught on camera, but caught by memory, where it will reside until I'm touched by the Reaper's hand. The Halford hug is known across the music industry, and it is the moment where you know that you've made it and you are worthy, and that is the legend of the Halford hug. Thank you so much for sticking with us all these years. You've made all of our dreams a reality, and we're not going anywhere. We've got plenty more for you in the coming years. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at GramWire, and we'll see you next time.